Good day. I pray that we are learning more and growing more in God's Word. Today is day 7, and I am going over chapter 7 of the book of Proverbs. If you were following along as we've been going through, Solomon has been stressing the importance of how it is to have wisdom. You know, the importance that you should try to take hold of wisdom and wise counsel and have that set before you in all your decision making, because it would keep you out of harm's way, it would keep you out of trouble, it would keep you from making poor decisions in life lessons and things that would affect you and your life and your name and so on. As we went over the last chapter, chapter 6, we touched over the word surety, making arrangements or speaking on somebody's behalf to take over their loan or something of that nature, and how to get out of that situation. We touched up further on counsel on how to be a good worker in that sense, as opposed to being somebody who doesn't decide to move or work for what they have. And in the Bible, they're using the word sluggard on that sense. Continuing on, it went into 6 things that the Lord hates. It went into even 7, which make it an abomination. And further advice on how to avoid adultery, because that is a situation where it has affected many people, broken up many families, affected a lot that's gone in people's lives, and dishonor and rage and so on in that sense. So it's telling you not to go and make these kinds of moves or decisions because how it will affect. Even touching up on that, it makes mention of, for jealousy is the rage of man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content. He won't be satisfied, though thou givest many gifts. If you are one who commits an adultery, an adulterous situation, and in the heat of the moment, this person is aware, right? Because this is the day of vengeance. You know, now he's, and there are people that have gone through that what they call, I believe it's a crime of passion or something. You're in the heat of the moment and you can't think of, how is this going to affect me? You know, you're thinking in the moment, this person did me wrong. I don't even know this other person, but they've done me wrong. And I'm going to get my justice, my vengeance, my revenge, something to satisfy that. It's a huge disrespect. And in the time of vengeance, in the moment, in the heat of the moment, you're filled with that. That person is filled with that rage, and nothing's going to satisfy him. So even if the guy didn't know, hey, I'm sorry, man, she told me she wasn't married, this and that, that person may still act out in harm's way. But we thank God that, you know, over time, you know, because there have been situations where people have gotten married and then divorced and so on, and people have gone through relationship after relationship after relationship. Time does tend to lighten that sting. So over time, you know, people do move on, and they don't look at it as strongly. They may still be affected by it as a sting that stuck with them, but they may not be in that mindset where they were. And thank God for those that are able to come out of that stronger, come out of that with a stronger mindset. Continuing on to verse 7, it's going to continue going on to advice on avoiding adulterers or the adulteress. They're giving an example on an adulterous woman. I really like this one. This is one of my favorites. I kind of read it in its poetry sense, but I'll kind of describe a little bit of what I'm thinking when I read it. But to each person, they may be getting a little bit different counsel from that. So in some sense, this is telling me about a woman who is unfaithful to her husband. He's gone away on a long trip, and now she's searching for whoever's there to fill that void of love. She's just there wanting the attention of some guy, and she happens to find one there. So it has that effect. It also has, it can be relatable to prostitution and so on. As you're reading this, it just kind of seems like it could be in those cases. But I'm just going to read right through it, and then I'm going to go over it and touch up on it a little bit. So, verse 1, chapter 7 of the book of Proverbs, advice about avoiding the adulteress. My son, keep my words, and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. Bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the table of thine heart. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and behold, among the simple ones I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner. And he went the way to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot, and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Now she is without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. So she caught him, and kissed him, and with an impotent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Therefore I came forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves. For the good man is not at home. He is gone on a long journey. He had taken a bag of money with him, and will come home at the day appointed. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. He goeth after her straightway, as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks. Till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hasteth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Hearken unto me now, therefore, O ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Let not thy heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her paths. For she hath cast many wounded, yea, many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. There is a lot there. That's the end of verse 27 of chapter 7. So, touching up on this, one thing that I like about this is I like that Solomon is, he's looking out of his window and he's trying to see, what's going on out here. And he happens to stumble across this person, this young man, here he is out in the streets late at night. And then there's this woman, and she's dressed very provocatively. She's always out at night. She's never home. She's never living that modest life or that humbleness or just staying at home. Her feet want to be out in the streets. She wants to party and live it up, drink all night, party and have fun, see who she can find that would give her that attention. And he stumbles across this young man, and he's unexperienced. He's not wise. He's just simple. He's probably out, and hey, here's a woman, and she's got my attention, and wow, she's very attractive. And here she is, and she's making all of these comments to him. She's stating, look, I've been looking for a guy like you. look, I've been out and about. Look, I'm married, but my husband, he's not even around. He's not around. I haven't been with anybody for a good while. He's been gone for a long time, and I need somebody here. Look, my house is ready. I got a nice bed. It's perfumed. You got rose petals on it, candles lit. Come on, sleep with me. Let's go this way. Let's do this thing. And this guy is drawn to that, right? She's very attractive and she's very sexually appealing, and she's causing him to go that way. He's lured by her, And then little does he know that it just so happens that the husband comes in early, and he finds his wife with this guy. And what does he do? He reaches for a weapon and stabs this guy, and he dies. So that's one way of looking at this situation. Here you are, and you're blinded by the situation that you're going through, and you're caught up into having that heat of the moment. You're caught by your passions and your desires, and some incident happens in that situation. What I like about this chapter is it always looks like a good play. Like if you've gone to, let's say you've gone to school and you've sat in the auditorium, and the kids or somebody's doing a play. You usually have like the narrator, and they have a podium or something that they're standing on, and they're reading, and then you have someone in the background and they're acting out this play. What I like about this looks like it would be good for a church service. If you were going to bring somebody to your church at night, bring the public in to come check out a show, this looks like something that someone could sit there and narrate while someone's pretending to be this harlot, someone's pretending to be this guy who happens to walk on the street, and then they have, Solomon or somebody looking outside their window, like a nosy neighbor, and they're seeing what's going on in their neighborhood. To me, it looks like it would make a good play, and I think that it would reach, its message would come across to the people on the implications of committing adultery and how that could affect you or someone or so on. But going into this also, it kind of also has the thoughts of prostitution and stuff in here as well, because you have a woman, and she's waiting in every corner, right? She has the attire of a harlot. It says so she's dressed very provocatively. She's out and about. She's out all night long and just coming to see who will give her the attention. And so to me, it kind of has that persona that it could be a prostitute, just depending on how you're reading it and how it affects the reader, because you can have a lot of viewpoints here. And this could end up being like a sting job or a hit job or a setup, right? Where she brought this guy in, he's got his money, he just came back from the club or whatever, and it's an attempt to lure him in. The guy comes into the room, and then you have her, her pimp or somebody that she set him up, kills the guy, something happens, beats him up, whatever, and takes his stuff. This is kind of going through scenarios of things that could happen. So on one point, you could look at it as a literal. As another point, you could look at it as that. But with all good, with good standing, just, kind of be on guard on those things. But going into the beginning of this chapter, he's giving advice on the importance of having wisdom. He's saying, keep my words, keep my commandments and live. Set it as the apple of thy eye, like really keep on to it. Bind it upon thy fingers, write them upon thy table of thy heart. Like remember it, hold on to it. It's that important. It is your very life. And don't ignore that. Sometimes we have that sense when we're in danger, like you're walking, you go to some convenience store late at night, it's in a bad neighborhood, maybe you got a hotel and went out of town and it's in a rough neighborhood, and here you are walking out and there's people behind these back alleys, and you get this sense of, I need to make it to my car quick. This is not good. It's saying to do so with wisdom. Don't forsake it, right? Those are things that you should remember. Those are things that you should hold on to. If if something's telling you you don't need to go down that path, you don't need to go down that road, And usually it's the Lord. Hey, don't do this. You're going to mess up your life. Don't do this. You're going to mess something up. You're going to ruin something. Don't ignore wisdom. Don't ignore wisdom. Don't ignore understanding. Look at those circumstances, set them before you, because it's going to keep you to walk upright. It's going to keep you in a good path to walk along. So that's the importance that he's saying from about the first verse into the 5th verse. He's saying the importance of having wisdom. And then he goes on to the story, and he's looking at people and their mistakes or where they're going. It's like as if you know something, and he knows something. He's looking at it from that mindset, like, this guy's going to go down and he's going to ruin his life. I know her husband, and he's captain of the football team. He was the biggest jock. He was this, whatever. He had a foreknowledge of this guy is going to make a mistake, and here he is going down there easily being lured into that. So needless to say, the importance of chapter 7 for the most part is going on to say, don't commit adultery. Think of the consequences. Look what's set before you. It could be a bad situation, and there's some kind of drama, baby mama drama, somebody's drama, and you're getting yourself involved with something. Whether someone's separated, you're having the drama of the ex, the family, breaking up situations. Here you are in the middle of it, and something that you went through, what you thought was going to be a moment, ends up affecting a long term and affecting a lot of people. So, but also there could always be that situation, and that ties to chapter 6, where verse 34, which says, "For jealousy is the rage of man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content." He won't be satisfied. He won't be happy, though thou givest many gifts. If you're a person who sleeps around with this guy's wife, and this guy happens to walk in and he sees you, friend, foe, whatever, you're an enemy in that moment. And whether you say you're innocent, hey man, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Well, did she tell you she was married? Look, like, did you not know? I don't care if you know or not. Either way, that's my house, that's my wife, that's my situation, and forget you. And there are a lot of people that get caught up in the heat of the moment, and they're quick to grab whatever's there, a knife, a gun, wrestle, whatever it may be. And a lot of things happen in that situation. And this one's telling you the same thing. This guy, he was kind of blindly going along with it, and now he caught himself in a situation, and it sounds to me as if he ended up getting stabbed in his liver and dying because he didn't pay attention to wisdom. He was too caught up with the emotions and in the moment. So going into verse 24, "Hearken unto me now, therefore, ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Listen. Let not thine heart decline to her ways." Don't go that way. Don't follow that path. This has happened before, and in this situation, many people have been stung. So even though you might think that you're a strong guy and I'm a good person, there have been a lot of people that may think that they're, a pastor or overall a good person, and they've ruined their name and their reputation and certain things because they've gone in that path. Even though they thought they were strong and good-willed, they've been slain by her. They've fallen victim because the appetite for sex or the appealness of sex and adultery, and here it goes, and it ruins your life. So, and then it goes to verse 27, which is the final verse. "Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death." In many ways, it may say in another verse, Sheol, or middle ground, or wherever it may be. But basically, you can look at it as she's taken a lot of people down with her, and don't fall victim to that. If you're holding on to wisdom, listen to it, because it's going to get you out of trouble. So, with that, I will end this. Thank you for tuning in. thank God for keeping me faithful to go through 7 days of this. 7 days of this, and I pray that I continue to finish it out on the 31st day. Thank you again for watching. God bless you. In all you do, take hold of wisdom. Grab a hold of the words. Do the right thing. Make the right choices so that you don't have to have hardships or calamities or anything affect you, your family, your name, your reputation, or anything of the such. Thank you again, and God bless you in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.